Welcome back to The Explainer. I am so incredibly thrilled you're here today because we're diving into something that can literally make or break your final grade. We're stepping onto the high-stakes trading floor of the Cambridge 0606 Additional Mathematics exam. And listen, we aren't just grinding through standard math problems today. We're talking pure, high-level exam strategy. I really want you to picture your exam paper exactly like a busy trading floor. In that exam room, your time, that is your absolute most valuable capital. You've got to make split-second decisions and invest that precious exam time exactly where the highest marks are. So today we're putting all our capital into one of the highest yield, yet let's be honest, most complex areas of the entire syllabus, solving trigonometric equations for given domains using the 6 trigonometric functions.
Look at this incredible quote straight from a senior Cambridge examiner. They literally put this in writing. Examiners report that solving trigonometric equations for given domains is one of the most misunderstood areas. Let's fix that right now. Wow, okay, that is a massive, flashing neon signal for us. When examiners tell us point blank exactly where thousands of students are dropping marks, that's our golden opportunity, right there. Mastering those 6 trig functions isn't just about blindly memorizing formulas. It's an insider's playbook. If you can confidently navigate this specific minefield, boom, you are instantly separating yourself from the vast majority of candidates.
To give you a bulletproof, systematic approach to problem solving, we'll break this down into 4 clear parts today. 1. Core principles. 2. The procedural framework. 3. The method mark strategy. And finally, 4. Examiner warnings. Let's get into it.
Section 1. Core principles targeting cognitive domains.
If you truly want to be a top-performing student, you've got to realize right now that rote memorization simply won't cut it anymore. The exam is actively testing how you think across 3 distinct cognitive domains. First up is basic knowledge and understanding. Do you actually know the fundamental properties of sine, cosine, tangent, secant, cosecant, and cotangent? Second is the application of principles. Okay, you know the properties, but can you actually use them to set up a working equation? And then there's the third one. Critical analysis of given domains. Guys, this is where the heavy lifting happens. You absolutely have to analyze the specific constraints they throw at you and adjust your solutions on the fly. Before we continue on how to master this, subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCS to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now.
All right, so how do we define actual mastery? True mastery equals connected, conceptual understanding that is completely transferable to totally unfamiliar contexts. Imagine turning the page of your exam paper, and bam, you see a trig question wrapped in a crazy scenario you've never ever seen before. Panic shouldn't even enter your mind. True mastery means relying on solid, evidence-based reasoning. It means taking the systematic analysis you've been practicing and adapting it seamlessly to this wild new context. You aren't just mindlessly solving for X here, you are proving to the examiner that you truly understand the fundamental architecture of the math.
Moving on to Section 2, the procedural framework, split-second execution.
This framework right here, this is the tactical core of our entire strategy. Because look, it's one thing to understand the math in the comfort of your bedroom, but it's a whole different ballgame processing it under the immense pressure of a ticking exam clock. To achieve that split-second execution, top candidates use a highly precise 5-step standardized sequence. Step 1, deconstruct the question. What are they actually asking you to do? Step 2, extract the relevant data. Isolate that domain and pinpoint the exact trig functions involved. Step 3, select your analytical framework. Which identities or formulas actually apply to this specific puzzle? Step 4, execute with crystal clear notation. And finally, Step 5, present your final answer using the absolutely correct terminology. Sticking rigidly to this sequence is exactly what prevents you from rushing in blind and getting totally tangled up halfway down the page.
And you know, this 5-step sequence actually lives within a much broader problem-solving loop. Deconstruct, solve, and evaluate. You identify the given information, you break the whole solution down systematically, but then, and honestly, this is the hallmark of a truly elite candidate, you evaluate. You meticulously check your final answers against that given domain to see if they are actually reasonable. Think about it. If the domain they gave you is strictly between 0 and 180 degrees, and your final answer is sitting there at 270, well, your evaluation step catches that red flag way before the examiner's red pen ever does.
All right, Section 3, the method mark strategy, process over perfection.
So let's head back to our trading floor concept for a second to look at how marks are actually handed out.
The method mark strategy means exactly this. Marks are awarded specifically for the systematic process and your clear working, even, and listen closely here, even if your final conclusion is completely, totally flawed. Let that sink in for a second. Making a silly little arithmetic mistake on the very last line doesn't mean you automatically get a fat 0 for the whole question. No way. If you invest your time in clearly showing your entire process, your framework, your chosen trig identities, you are practically guaranteeing yourself partial marks. Stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2 to 3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to @aceexams_IGCSE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions. Anyway, as I was saying, showing that working is the ultimate way to crush math anxiety, because you're literally being rewarded just for having a logical approach.
So to actually capture all those juicy method marks, you've got to religiously follow this systematic processing sequence. Identify the key elements, apply the relevant principles, execute your analysis with super clear working, verify the results, and present them in the proper format. The absolutely vital takeaway here is that examiners are strictly looking for proper conventions. They want to see the correct terminology, really clear annotations, and beautifully logical steps. If your working is just this scattered, chaotic mess all over the page, the examiner literally cannot award you those method marks simply because they can't follow your logic.
Now, what happens when a tricky question pushes you to do some critical analysis or evaluate different alternatives? Well, there's a massive, massive difference between just basic comparison and higher-order comparative analysis. Basic comparison is just saying, oh, here are the similarities and differences. But higher-order analysis, the kind that unlocks the highest mark bands, requires using evidence-supported comparative connectives. You're not just saying, this method is different from that method, you are drawing hard conclusions about relative importance, and you're actively justifying your mathematical decisions using clear evidence right from your own working.
Okay, let's move into our final section, Section 4, Top Examiner Warnings, Pitfalls to Avoid. I want you to consider this a crucial, high-alert warning system straight from the Cambridge Principal Examiner reports. Looking at the data across thousands of papers, there are exactly 3 major mistakes that examiners repeatedly flag when students try to solve trig equations for given domains. Just 3. If you can consciously eliminate these 3 specific behaviors from your exam routine, your grade potential is going to absolutely skyrocket.
All right. Here they are, the top 3 principal examiner flags. Number 1, answers are simply too vague. Examiners demand highly specific mathematical details and crystal clear working. You can't be fuzzy here. Number 2, students completely fail to check format and presentation conventions. Remember what we said earlier? Proper headings, correct terminology, and clear notation aren't just polite preferences, they are hard, non-negotiable requirements. And finally, number 3, answers are completely detached from the specific context given in the question.
Let's actually zoom in on that last point for a second, because it is the classic heartbreaking mistake, providing vague, generic answers instead of highly specific contextual ones. In 0606 Additional Mathematics, giving some theoretical textbook answer that totally ignores the practical constraints of the specific question, it's going to cost you dearly. You've got to link every single mathematical point, every single calculated angle, directly back to the given scenario and the precise domain provided in the prompt. If the domain is given in radians, your final answer absolutely must be in radians. I can't stress this enough. Context is king.
So we have officially walked the trading floor. We've seen the core principles, that 5-step procedural framework, the incredibly powerful method mark strategy, and those critical examiner warnings. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. Are you ready to invest your exam time where the marks are highest? Knowing the strategy is only half the battle. The next time you sit down with a past paper and encounter a complex trigonometric equation with the tricky domain, I challenge you to apply this exact procedural framework. Show your working, secure those method marks, and evaluate your final answer against the context. Students who implement these mathematics strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos. Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to @acetheexams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Drop a comment below with your target grade for mathematics and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams, your Cambridge success starts here. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer and happy studying.